Picture this, the world is quiet after fire. Forests are patchy, skies still dim, and the last echoes of the asteroid fade into silence. Dinosaurs, the rulers of 165 million years, are gone. But in their shadow, a new cast of survivors begins to stir. Tiny mammals, once overlooked, now have a chance to thrive. This is the story of the rise of mammals and how they quietly claimed a world left in ruins. The first mornings after the apocalypse were eerie. Charred landscapes stretched for miles. Fungal blooms blanketed the ground in damp, dark layers. Rivers were murky with ash, and the sky hung heavy with clouds of dust and sulfur. The air tasted of minerals and smoke. Yet in burrows, hollow logs, and riverbanks, tiny mammals crept out, blinking into the dim light. Most were no bigger than rats, with long whiskers to feel their way around, sharp claws for digging, and teeth that could gnaw almost anything. Seeds, insects, small reptiles, and carrion became the staples of their survival. In a world stripped of abundance, flexibility mattered more than strength. Above ground, danger was everywhere. Predators still lingered, crocodiles in the rivers, snakes among toppled logs, and even some surviving small theropods clinging to remote patches of forest. But with the larger dinosaurs gone, mammals had space to explore niches that had been impossible before. Opportunism became the rule. A mammal that could forage in burned forests, burrow quickly, or climb trees had a fighting chance. Some mammals began experimenting with new behaviors. A small, shrew-like creature might follow insects along a riverbank in daylight, using speed and keen senses to avoid predators. Others dug longer burrows to avoid temperature extremes or harsh storms. This was evolution in action, played out in every shadow and every hollow. Mammals had three secret weapons that gave them an edge in the post-apocalyptic world. One, warm blood. They could maintain internal heat, surviving nights that plunged to freezing temperatures and shaded forests where sunlight barely penetrated. Two, fur. Acting as insulation, it allowed them to venture into burned-out areas, climb exposed branches, or even huddle together for warmth during brief cold snaps. Three, versatile teeth and jaws. Unlike many dinosaurs with specialized diets, mammals could chew seeds, crush insects, gnaw bones, and rip flesh. Brains, although small, were proportionally larger than those of most reptiles. This intelligence allowed for better problem-solving, memory, and sensory perception. Their whiskers, sensitive noses, and acute hearing turned each day into a carefully navigated obstacle course. Every movement, sniff, and twitch was calculated survival. Some species began experimenting with new forms of locomotion. Early gliders stretched skin between limbs, leaping from one tree to the next. Agile climbers explored tall, partially destroyed forests, seeking fruit and insects. Digging mammals constructed intricate burrow systems, forming subterranean networks that could support entire colonies. As ecosystems slowly stitched themselves back together, mammals filled every available niche. Forests grew unevenly, rivers wound through ash-choked valleys, and open plains appeared in areas scoured by volcanic flows or meteor debris. Tree dwellers experimented with agility, balance, and dexterity. Burrowers refined tunnel systems that offered protection from predators and extreme weather. Insects and small reptiles became a new food base, while the occasional bird or fish provided protein for opportunistic omnivores. The diversity exploded. Within a few million years, herbivores, omnivores, insectivores, and early social species emerged. Some mammals took to rivers, swimming to escape predators or to forage along muddy banks. Others developed climbing membranes, gliding silently from one burnt tree to another. The post-asteroid Earth acted as a natural evolutionary laboratory. Every environmental challenge forced innovation. Mammals evolved fast, because in this fragile, broken world, every advantage counted. Even slight improvements in diet, mobility, or social behavior could mean the difference between extinction and survival. Life was far from easy. Crocodiles still ruled waterways. Large snakes hunted in trees and forests. Some small theropods survived, inhabiting isolated regions where human-like mammals would never have imagined predators. Volcanoes continued to rumble, pumping ash and gases into the atmosphere. Rivers flooded unpredictably, soils shifted, and isolated frost or heat waves became deadly. Mammals had to adapt continuously. Mobility, intelligence, and flexible diets were essential. Species that could not adjust quickly disappeared. At the same time, survivors began forming complex behaviors. Some mammals would gather seeds and hide them, inadvertently planting new forests. Others developed cooperative behaviors. Mothers guarded young while others foraged, increasing survival rates. Evolution favored not just physical traits, but social strategies as well. Among this wave of mammalian diversification arose a particularly important group, primates, small, arboreal insect eaters with grasping hands and forward-facing eyes. Their brains emphasized vision over smell, a reversal from many other mammals. Forward-facing eyes allowed depth perception for navigating branches and leaping between trees. Grasping hands enabled climbing, manipulating food, and even rudimentary tool use. Early social structures began to emerge, grooming, sharing food, and communicating with subtle signals. These traits might have seemed minor, but they were crucial. Depth perception and dexterity were early foundations for intelligence. Social interaction helped individuals survive in small, dense communities, and slowly these traits accumulated, preparing primates for evolutionary experimentation on a larger scale. The mammals of this age were small, adaptable, and fast reproducing. Each generation was a test, a tiny experiment in survival strategies across forests, rivers, and plains. By 10 million years after the asteroid, mammals had expanded into nearly every habitat, underground, in the trees, along rivers, and even gliding between branches. Primates quietly explored tree canopies, testing balance, coordination, and social cooperation. Other mammals developed nocturnal habits, exploiting niches with fewer competitors. Burrows built networks that would support entire colonies. Swimmers, climbers, and gliders all experimented with mobility, foraging, and survival strategies. This period set the stage for complex ecosystems dominated not by giants, but by small, flexible, intelligent creatures. The age of dinosaurs had ended. The stage was now set for mammals, and among them, the first sparks of intelligence that would eventually lead to humans. The extinction of the dinosaurs was more than an ending, it was a handover. Life had learned flexibility, resilience, and opportunism. Mammals, once hidden in shadows, now shaped the post-apocalyptic landscape. Next chapter, we follow primates as they venture further into forests, refine their skills, form social groups, and take the first tentative steps toward intelligence, curiosity, and the long journey that leads to humanity.